Well, thank you for agreeing to this interview. Um, I've obviously been lucky enough to take a look at the first episode of Taken season 5. Um, and I was hoping that you could just introduce yourself to the audience and um, and also about the other things that you do. Because I've been looking through your things like True Story and all the sorts to your background as well. So if you could just tell us about that, that'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. My name is Dinae Robinson. I was born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. My family is from Swan Lake First Nation, just about an hour and a bit southwest of Winnipeg. I currently work as head of content for Eagle Vision, and I also write, direct, and produce as well. We have some exciting projects coming up that are about to be announced. So.
Okay. So I can see that well, if IMB is correct, there's no way, but I can see that you joined, Taken sort of 2 years in, and just want to know, what led you to getting involved.
For sure. I actually started out as a transcriber of interviews for Taken back in, I think it was season 2. So I was transcribing the interviews, and then I was given the opportunity to become a writer on the show, which I took. And then also my relationship with Eagle Vision kind of grew from there as well. So I was brought on to direct and write other shows. And then just with the mentorship and the guidance and the belief of, Lisa, Kyle, and Rebecca, I my position grew into what it is as head of content at Eagle Vision. And I'm grateful for that. Um, so that said, Taken aired 4 seasons, and it ended back at the beginning of the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls here in Canada. And the hopes was that the inquiry would make a difference, and that we wouldn't have to make a show like Taken again. Unfortunately, 5 years later, we're back. Fortunately, unfortunately, after careful consultation and consideration of speaking to community members, allies, law enforcement, it was decided that we should bring Taken back and reboot the series.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I was going to ask about the return and your thoughts on that, but you made it very clear. Um, One thing I'd like to ask is true crime is on the rise. It's huge, especially thanks to its exposure through especially podcasts. I just wondered, sort of in your own words, can you tell us what sets Taken apart? Um,
Absolutely. The word that I think of when I think of Taken, the series, is the word love. And I know that doesn't come up a lot in the true crime space, or even just on the topic of missing and murdered Indigenous people. But there was so much love that went into this show, that goes into this show ongoing. Um, we we also incorporate ceremony into a lot of the shows that we do at Eagle Vision here as well. And Taken, of course, was nonetheless like it was no exception. Um we incorporated ceremony. A lot of the people who worked on the show, also myself included, had have a background of working in non-for-profit organizations within the inner city here in Winnipeg. Some of the workers on the show also worked on the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. So we incorporated a lot of the protocols and procedures of working within community. We incorporated them onto the show as well. And Taken is a call to action as well. Our host Lisa says over and over again, someone out there has answers. Our goal is to find them. And so that is the intention with Taken. We're not just sharing stories of, true crime. We're trying to solve the cases and help bring closure to the family members and to the loved ones of their um of their family member who has gone missing or has been murdered. The show also highlights all of the work that goes into helping solve the cases. We speak to a lot of the law enforcement who are actively working on the cases, and many of them also are very dedicated. We've interviewed police officers who have gotten emotional. We interview community workers who do various work, also allies, and of course, most importantly, the family members. So there's a lot of care that goes into Taken and ongoing. We're still, we're receiving lots of messages now, and it's it's great to see the impact, the positive impact that we have with the show.
Okay. Thank you so much. So you mentioned obviously that you work closely with law enforcement. So a question I was going to ask, sort of that's connected to that, through your work with Taken, how have your thoughts changed, specifically with sort of the government, whether it be at local government level, um, or sort of higher, even given that obviously you stopped hoping that the committee might change, things might lead to change, but you're back again. So I don't know if you could tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that.
Well, I think there's a lot more awareness now, specifically thanks to shows like Taken and to the National Inquiry. I think a lot of people are now are a lot more aware of the issue itself and all of the various different reasons due to colonization of what puts Indigenous people in more vulnerable positions than, say, non-Indigenous people. Um, I think the show, or I think the change in government also comes that we do see specifically here in Winnipeg the push and also the pushback on instances like the landfill, searching the landfill. We had, you know, family members who were known to be in the landfill, and we had parts of our government that was for searching the landfill, and then we had other parts of government that was pushing back. And so what that tells us is that shows like this are needed, and that we need to continue to talk about these issues and spread awareness.
Okay. Well, I think that's great. Um, as I was doing my research, I've noticed now that Taken can be viewed by international audiences now. I found it through Tubi. And I just want, obviously, it's primarily about getting the word out there and seeing if maybe someone knows something about these. What do you, I guess, hope for the international audience? What do you hope that they make of the show?
I hope that they see that unfortunately this is an issue that is happening in Canada, and that Indigenous people that we feature on the show, that they're not just victims, but they have a family that loves them and misses them, and we hope to share their personal stories of who they are as a person, and things that they contributed to the community as well, and that there are people actively working to make things better and to make a change.
Okay. First, shift it a bit to you. Could you tell us about True Story? I've been searching. I don't think I can get direct access to it, but I've seen some recent references to it. It seems like a very interesting documentary. Just want to let people know because we go for everyone. So it's an international audience who read us. So some of them will be able to watch it.
Okay, so True Story Part 1 and Part 2 premiered September 30th on the History Channel. September 30th is significant here in Canada because it's the day for the national the NRTC, the National Truth and Reconciliation Day here in Canada, that is spreads awareness for, of course, residential schools, and honors the memory of the children who went to school, and some who didn't come back. It honors the memory, and So True Story premiered on that date, and it was significant because True Story goes into the history of the relationships between Indigenous people and settlers in Canada. But what's unique about this is that in part one, we start prior to contact. So we talk about a lot of the history that already existed here within various nations on what is now called Canada, in what is now called Canada, and it's a gradual timeline that goes up to current time. So we cover various different topics, of course. Residential school, are the experts and the knowledge keepers that we interview too are from across Canada. So we have people located on the East Coast, the West Coast, in the prairies, the North. We have Two-Spirit expertise as well. And why that's significant is it dehomogenizes Indigenous people, and it shows what diverse people that we are, and that while our histories are similar, it is different, and the timeline of colonization, our experiences across different regions was very different. It's an interesting story to for as an introduction for people who want to learn the history, and there's so much more to tell.
Okay, thank you. And then just one final thing, sorry. Um, I read that kind of deal on did the narration on True Story. We've been lucky enough to interview her. We interviewed her for her directorial the Big Seeds. So I just wanted to get talk about working with her. I was excited to self.
Absolutely. Dio was incredible. What I didn't mention is that True Story also has a cheeky humor to it as well. So it makes it a little bit more of, shall we say, digestible for some people who might not be familiar with a lot of the topics that are discussed, or challenges a lot of the historical narratives that people have been told. And Dio delivers it in a way that is humorous and gentle, but also strong, because like she's a strong Indigenous woman, and she was such a delight to work with. And I don't see anybody else narrating True Story aside from Dio.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. I would obviously invite our audience who can to catch up on Taken. As I say, for international viewers, if you have access to Tubi, you'll be able to access the first set of 1 to 4 seasons through that, I believe. And obviously, if you're in North America, it's significantly easier to then access. And please, thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay.